In the years following British settlement in Australia, Aboriginal trackers, or black trackers, as they became known, were enlisted by settlers to assist them in navigating their way through the Australian landscape. The trackers' hunter-gatherer lifestyle gave rise to excellent tracking skills which were advantageous to settlers in assisting them in finding food and water and locating missing persons, capturing bushrangers and violently dispersing other groups of Aboriginals. The first recorded employment of the services of Aboriginal trackers by Europeans in Australia was in 1791, when Watkin Tench utilised Eora men Colbee and Balloderry to find a way to the Hawkesbury River. In 1795, an Aboriginal guide led Henry Hacking to the Cowpastures area where the lost First Fleet cattle were rediscovered. In 1802, Dharawal men Gogy, Budbury and Le Tonsure with Gandangara men Wooglemai and Bungin assisted Ensign Francis Barrallier in his explorations into the Blue Mountains. There are many other examples of explorers, squatters, military, paramilitary groups, naval missions, and police utilising Aboriginal assistance in tracking down wanted persons. For instance, in 1834, near Fremantle, Western Australia, two trackers named Mogo and Mollydobbin tracked a missing 5-year-old boy for over 10 hours through the rough Australian bush. Another notable event occurred in 1864 when Duff children Jane, 7, Isaac, 9, and Frank, 4, Duff, lost for 9 days in Wimmera, were found by Aboriginal tracker Dick tracking. When asked how he tracked, Tamiri, a famous tracker of the early 20th century, said, "I never bend down low. Just walk slow round and round until I see more." Quote, in 1845, Edward Stone Parker, the Assistant Protector of Aborigines based at the Loddon Aboriginal Protectorate Station at Franklinford, wrote a letter to the Chief Protector reporting on the murder of a native at Joyce's Station, near Newstead. No witness could be found to the murder, but the footprints of 5 men were tracked by the Judge of Oorong to open country south of Mount Macedon, Sunbury region. The trackers there met with another man attached to the Loddon Protectorate Station who was on his return from Melbourne. He told the trackers he had met with the group they were tracking and was able to give a description of them. The New South Wales Police Force actively engaged Aboriginal trackers from 1850. Attempting to secure Aboriginal trackers for each of the police districts. By 1867, 52 Aboriginal trackers were in the employ of the police at a daily rate of 2s60, approximately 3 liras 1760 per month. In that year, at the height of bushranger activity in the Goulburn Police District, 3 mounted Aboriginal trackers of the New South Wales Police Force were actively involved in the capture of the Clark brothers at Gindon near Braidwood. Aboriginal tracker So Watkin Win, later Sergeant Major So Watkin Win, led the initial party of police from Fairfield under the command of Senior Constable Wright, later Sub-Inspector Wright, to the location at Gindon. He was seriously injured during the capture and had an arm amputated. He was awarded 120 liras for his role in the capture. 2 other trackers, who subsequently led other police to the scene, trackers George Emmett, stationed at Ballalaba, and Thomas, stationed at Majors Creek, secured lesser awards of 7 liras 10s. Tracker George Emmett had previously received an award of 30 liras for the arrest of Pat Connell, another member of the gang. 2 members of the Queensland Native Mounted Police Force, Wannamutta and Werranaby, assisted in the capture of Ned Kelly at Glenrowan, Victoria in 1880. They had been promised 50 liras reward for Kelly's capture, but descendants claimed the 2 were never paid. Native police, A number of native police organisations were established throughout Australia during the 19th century which employed armed and mounted Aboriginal trackers under white officers to carry out various duties, the foremost of these being punitive missions against Aboriginals who resisted colonial expansion. During the Gold Rush era, they were also used to patrol goldfields and search for escaped prisoners. They were provided with uniforms, firearms, food rations and a rather dubious salary. In 1879, the services of a group of Queensland black police were requested to help track the Kelly gang which were on the run from the Victorian police. The use was agreed and a party of 6 native troopers, with a white officer, Sub-Inspector Stanhope O'Connor, reached Benalla about March 1879. Recent and present-day use. In 1941, the Northern Territory Special Reconnaissance Unit was established to patrol the North Australian coastline for Japanese landings and infiltration, and was primarily composed of Aboriginal soldiers. The 2/1 of a stone North Australia Observer Unit, Nakaroos, performed a similar role, though Aboriginals were a minority in the unit, serving as labourers and trackers. In the present-day Australian Army, the Regional Force Surveillance Units can be seen as a spiritual descendant of the tracker legacy. Aboriginal trackers within the Queensland Police Force wore yellow epaulets to denote their role. By 2012, only one tracker remained, Lama Lama Elder Barry Port. Queensland Police do not expect another tracker to replace Port. Notable Aboriginal trackers: Charlie, Dick, Jimmy Governor, Jimmy James, Tommy Windich. Aboriginal trackers in books and film. Australia, 2008 film, The Last Trackers of the Outback. 2007 documentary film, The Tracker. 2002 film, Rabbit Proof Fence. Film, A Cry in the Dark. One Night the Moon. Black Tracker. Walkabout. Novel, The Black Tracker, Jack Davis. 1970 poem,